Let's take you through some of the key moments so far.
Reform UK, changing politics for good, 1,280 votes.
As you can see, it was all cheers in Basildon a short time ago as Reform snatched the win for the St Martin's ward, the first of 11 seats gained on the council. While in Greater Manchester, Labour lost Tameside Council after holding it for 47 years. But Labour's Eleanor Wills refused to pin all the blame on the party's leadership.
I think there's a collective responsibility, and I think that we all need to reflect on what the country's saying. We all need to get better at communicating what we actually do, what we actually deliver, so that people don't risk losing it.
The Conservatives are also losing seats, as we heard from Sam. The Shadow Scotland Secretary, Andrew Bowie, told me why he believes the major parties are ceding ground.
I think Kemi's got a hell of a lot more than Nigel Farage has in terms of her commitment, her passion, her intellectual view of where she wants to take the party and indeed the country. But there is a general feeling of dissatisfaction and disillusionment with the established political parties out there in the country. A real disgruntlement with the state of the country, and Nigel Farage, as the populist campaigner that he is capitalising on that.
Reform's leader, Nigel Farage, says the results mark an historic change in British politics and that traditional left and right are now out of the window. The party's deputy leader, Richard Tice, told me Labour is suffering a seismic collapse.
What we are witnessing is that the red wall of the Midlands and the North is being repainted, a much brighter, more optimistic turquoise wall. And that will be the big news of the next 18 to 24 hours.
Meanwhile, the Justice Minister, Sarah Sackman, conceded it has been a tough night, but she attempted to downplay the significance for the Prime Minister's leadership.
The early results are very difficult. They're a bitter pill to swallow. But I think you've got to put this in context as well. Midterms, local elections are very often a free hit at the government because people think, look, I've got nothing to lose. It's just a local election.
Let's bring in our panel. They've been with us all night. Former Conservative Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi, who's now a member of Reform UK, of course, and the Labour peer Baroness Ayesha Hazarika. Well done for keeping going. This is great. Still taking a coffee. Nadhim, a turquoise wall is how Richard Tice described events that are happening right now and maybe over the next 24 hours as well.
Yeah, and I think, look, we are, I would say, humbled by the response from the nation. I think, I hope we're going to see some really good results from Wales and from Scotland and, of course, the rest of England as the day goes by. The uniparty grip, arrogance of taking the electorate for granted is over. It's done. I think we now, as Nigel has said, begin to prepare for a general election as a party. We don't know when it will happen. Labour will go through all sorts of panic and plotting and people thinking that it should be Wes Streeting or it should be Angela Rayner with Andy Burnham. It's chaos. Starmer is paralysed. He will not be able to do it much about it, and it will end in tears.
And taking votes from not only Labour, but the Tories as well. Yeah. They're having a battering.
Well, if you believe the Thrasher forecast, Labour are in terrible territory, just shy of 2,000 councillors. And as Aisha quite rightly reminded us, at the very start of this evening, councillors and their families, who are the ones who go out and knock on doors and deliver leaflets and are there for the leadership when they need them, they must be very disappointed because they've watched this whole campaign has been dominated by plotting and briefing and, rather than focusing on what they need to do, which is get their house in order, they've done the opposite. And, of course, it's bad for the Conservatives. If they lose 600 councillors, whatever Kemi does, when she wants to lead her troops forward on whatever strategy she comes up with. Ultimately, when she looks around her, there are no troops. Because, again, those 600 councillors...
Because they've all deserted, like you.
Well, no, some of them have lost their seats, sadly, tonight. And I hope many of them will think about putting the country ahead of party and actually voting for a leader and a party that can get rid of Keir Starmer in this government as soon as possible. You know, we stood on a campaign of family, community and country and, of course, getting rid of Starmer if you come out and vote, and the nation's come out and voted. And in some areas, the turnout is really encouraging. And so it is a turquoise wall that I hope we now focus on delivering for.
Yeah, the turnout has been good for midterm local elections. The words that we've been hearing, Ayesha, tonight, words like apocalyptic, existential, are they fair, do you think?
Well, I would probably look. It's not been a great night for Labour, far from it. But all I would just urge is, I suppose,
that's the understatement of the
it's just
century.
a tiny bit of restraint, and in terms of the hyperbole, just let's see where we get to. Because we started off the evening. I understand we started early, and it was like, oh my goodness, like we've lost 80-something% seats. Now it's like 6. Let's just see where we are tomorrow when the final count is. Then we can make a cool-headed, evidence-based assessment. But it's not looking great for Labour. We know that from certainly. And I think Labour does have to confront that. We'll see what's happening with the Greens, but certainly Labour is losing a lot of seats to Reform, particularly those kind of red wall heartlands, and that is something that Labour's going to have to think about. It's also going to have to assess the damage done on the left of politics in terms of the Greens. And I think there is going to be a lot of hurt and pain and anger and panic and fear this weekend. I do not see a big kind of coup taking place. I just don't see that happening, because I don't think there is the organisation. I don't think there is a candidate. I don't think there's a plan. I don't think there's a stomach or the appetite or the psychology for it. Now the Prime Minister's definitely going to sort of dig in. But
so why
there's
were they
going
briefing?
to be... But hang on,
Wes has a whole team round him, ready to go.
Lots of people briefed lots
Andy
of things.
was
lots
ready
of
to go.
People briefed out that you were denied a peerage, and that's why you went to Reform.
That's not true.
Well, exactly. People brief things that aren't true. It's people. You can't read everything you read in the papers. But there is going to have to be a lot. I mean, the worst thing that Labour could do is not acknowledge the fact that this has been a difficult step. If it is just business as usual, let's just carry on, nothing to see here, I think that is really problematic, because what we are seeing is a huge amount of enthusiasm for Reform. You cannot deny that. And let's see where we get to with the Greens. And the Labour Party, from the top strategist at Downing Street and the Prime Minister, right down to backbench MPs, are going to have to think really carefully about, how to sort of navigate this in the future. They can't just do more of the same, carry on nothing. There has to be some proper reflection.